Hello, hello, hello. Order paper. Order paper.
of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society, good of all human lives upon it, and the just government of its people, we beseech you to look with your abundant favor upon us, your servants, whom you have entrusted with the performance of such important trust in this community. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our attention and the deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this region and of those whose interest you have committed to us. Amen.
Item 1, on the order paper, administration of oath.
Honorable members, I rise to notify you that on the 21st of June 2021, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, appointed Honorable James Magode Ikuya to be a Minister of State for East African Community Affairs. By virtue of Article 1B, Roman 2 of Article 48. I'm sorry, I repeated this. By virtue of Article 1B, Roman 2 of Article 48 of the treaty, Honorable James Magode Ikuya is ex officio member of this assembly. Honorable James Magode Ikuya has indicated his desire to participate in the proceedings of this assembly. However, in accordance with Rule 5 of our rules of procedure, Honorable James Magode Ikuya can only take his seat in the assembly after taking the oath of allegiance to the treaty. Rule 5, Sub-Rule 5 specifically states that when a member first attempts to take his or her seat other than at the first sitting of the new house, he or she shall be brought to the table by two members and presented by them to the speaker, who shall then administer the oath or affirmation of allegiance to him or her. End of quote. I therefore request any two members who know Honorable James Magode Ikuya to bring him to the table and present him before me to enable me administer the oath of allegiance. In one of the languages in Uganda, this movement is called the Okushagara. Is that so? In so many languages.
Okay. Right. But I haven't put my eyes. Let me first put the eyes. The eyes cannot flash. Might fail to see. I, James Magode Ikuya, do swear that I will give true and faithful service to this assembly, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the East African community, and will preserve, protect, and defend the treaty for the establishment of the East African community as by law established. So help me God. Okay. You're right.
Now you can sign from there. Yes.
I just say you write the name. Okay.
So, Honorable Ikuya, you are now an ex-officio member of EALA. And what we always do is to give you the tools you will need the most as a member of EALA. And that's the treaty and the rules of the assembly. So I will give you a set of the copy of the treaty establishing the East African community and the rules of this assembly. So honorable members and Honorable Ikuya, you will agree with me that it wouldn't be easy for the time I have now to go through your entire resume. It would be a very tedious exercise, but I want to thank you and congratulate you for this step. Your presence in the assembly, as I have been talking to you when we had a private conversation there before you walked in, is going to be of enormous benefits to us because of your experience, because of your wisdom. This assembly appreciates your coming as one of us, and we believe you are coming with a lot of positive difference that you will make. But briefly, although I cannot go through the entire resume, I want to tell you that Honorable Ikuya has a long history of Pan-Africanism. He has participated in liberation struggles of his country. From those times, those who study history, the days of Fronasa was a member, was a founding member of the National Resistance Movement, one of the founding members. He has been a zone organizer, Eastern Uganda of National Liberation Front, UNLF. Has been a political and diplomatic commission from 1971 to 1980. Has been, as I told you, a founder member of the NRIM, 81 to 86. He was a district administrator, central government representative, and resident district commissioner between 1988 and 1996. Has been a deputy director of information at the movement secretariat from 1996, 1997, and the director of mass mobilization at the movement secretariat from 1998, 2002, to mention just a few. So you want to know more about him, because he's now our colleague, you will, of course, go and talk to him. And now I think we got a good replacement of late Kirunda Kivejenja. Is it correct? Yes. Thank you so much, Honorable. And now I am informed that according to our rules, we cannot have two ministers in the chamber at the same time. Is it correct? Correct. We can't have two. That's why when the Right Honorable Deputy Prime Minister walked in, I sent a messenger to tell her, please hold on, so that we cannot have both in the chambers. I don't know the logic of that, but that is how it is. So, Honorable Ikuya, I want to give you time to make your maiden speech. That's what we do here. And then after, between you and the Honorable Kadaga can agree who stays in the chamber. Thank you. Please, can you switch off on your microphone and walk to the podium and talk?
Mr. Speaker, and the honorable members of the East African Community Assembly, it is indeed my pleasure to be here today because I'm being born as a member of this great assembly. It is our very old, useful thinking that one day we would be having East African unity. But while we're actuating those ideas, I was relatively on the sideline. I was not in the heart of the action. But my coming here today brings me into the realm of reordering things so that I can join all of you in actuating what has been going on. And I think this is a proud moment for me. And I hope that my being here will serve a good cause which you have been having. I do not promise that I have come here with particular loads of things, new things, which might help this assembly in particular. But at least I know of myself that I have not come here to be a disaster to the community idea. Therefore, I will make my humble contribution, join you as somebody who has joined on the way, and I will pay tribute to all the things that, to all those who have been there before me, and all of you who have been traveling on this road. I'm proud of your road, and I hope that my coming in will enable us to go forward together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and you are most welcome to the Assembly. So, Honorable, I need to know the rule that says whether it is a treaty provision that says two ministers cannot be in the chamber. So I don't have to work on assumption. Which provision? Number 2? Which one? The council shall appoint a clerk. No, are you sure? It is Article 48. Membership of the Assembly shall comprise 9 members elected by each partner state, and the ex-officio members consisting of A, the minister responsible for East African Community Affairs from each partner state, and B, the assistant minister or deputy minister or minister of state responsible for East African affairs from each partner state, provided that an assistant minister, deputy minister, or minister of state may only participate in the meetings of the Assembly when the substantive minister responsible for East African Community Affairs is for any reason unable to participate. I think that is the only relevant provision. So we need all of you and both of you in the House, but unfortunately not at the same time. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's proceed.
We proceed item 2, communication from.
Thank you, honorable members. First of all, I thank you for your understanding. Yesterday, I couldn't be with you here. And thank you, Honorable Aden, for Honorable Aden was telling me in the evening that he was very, very tired and that he slept at 7 in the evening. So it can be hectic, I know, especially because
Proceed,
it was
Speaker.
But thank you very much for your role yesterday. Honorable Kennedy Mukulia.
Yes, Right Honorable Speaker, as just you have read the provision of this article, it says, provided that an assistant minister, deputy minister, or minister of state may only participate in the meeting of the Assembly when the substantive minister responsible for East African Community Affairs is, for one reason, not able to attend. It means the minister is around, so unless for other reason.
Well, I think that is sorted out. You understood, members? It's very clear. I know both are around, but we will decide who is coming. Maybe the logic of this meant to deal with the situation where people have to vote, and I don't know why it is there in the treaty, but it is there. So I think we can proceed like that. Thank you.
We proceed to item 3. Papers, report of the Committee on Accounts on the progress made in the construction of Lake Victoria Basin Commission Headquarters and RMFU Jumuiya.
Honorable Chair, Committee on Accounts.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay the report of the Committee on Accounts on the progress made in construction of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Headquarters and the RMB Jumuiya.
We proceed to the next item, motion seeking leave of the Assembly to introduce a private members bill, promote the preservation and promotion of the diverse cultural heritage of the community by way of motion.
Honorable Francoise Umuchiza.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. First and foremost, I congratulate and welcome the new member of this Assembly, ex-official, Honorable James Magode Ikuya. He's not around, but I'm sure he will come back. Then, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move a motion that this Assembly, pursuant to the provisions of Article 59, Sub-Article 1 of the Treaty, and Rule 64, Sub-Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly, do resolve to grant me leave to introduce a private members bill entitled the East African Community Cultural Heritage Bill 2021. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.
Seconders. Honorable Ambassador Fatuma, Honorable Mary Mujanyi, Honorable Fatuma Ibrahim, Honorable Dr. Woda Jeremy, Honorable Aden Abdikadir, Honorable Malikre, Honorable Dr. Karinda, Honorable Mariam Usi. Honorable Francoise, can you justify?
Mr. Speaker, sir, motion seeking leave of the Assembly to introduce a bill to promote the preservation and the promotion of the diverse cultural heritage of the community, moved under Articles 49 sub-article 1, 59 sub-article 1 of the treaty, and Rule 26 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly. Whereas under Article 119 of the treaty, the partner states undertook to promote close cooperation among themselves in culture, and whereas under Article 119C of the treaty, the partner states particularly agreed to cooperate in the promotion of cultural activities and to conserve, safeguard, and develop the cultural heritage of the partner states, including historical materials and antiquities. Aware that the diversity and uniqueness of the traditions, customs, and the practices of the people of East Africa are integral parts of the cultural identity, life, and the social capital and uniqueness of our community. Further aware that cultural heritage includes the tangible and intangible aspects of the culture of a society that are of a particular value in terms of science, technology, history, archaeology, literature, philosophy, arts, religion, and other areas related to culture that are passed from past generations, maintained in the presence and bestowed for the benefit of future generations. Recognizing that preserving, safeguarding, and promoting the cultural heritage of the people of East Africa contributes to promoting cultural tourism and the marketing of the products, showcasing the diverse cultural heritage of our community. Appreciating the efforts of the 20th Council of Ministers in establishing and promoting the Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki Utamaduni Festival Jama Fest as a unifying and regular arts and cultural festival to foster an East African cultural identity and create an enabling environment to promote and develop the arts and the creative industries as a viable tool for sustainable socio-economic development, and whose first edition was held in Kigali, Rwanda, 2013. Aware that although the Council attempted to establish an East African Culture and Sports Commission in 2011, this did not materialize. Recognizing that partner states are signatory to and have ratified international and continental instruments promoting and preserving tangible and intangible cultural heritage, encouraged by the efforts of the partner states to promote and preserve their cultural heritage by adopting specific progressive national policies and strategies on cultural heritage. Noting that there is a need for the community to complement and strengthen the national efforts by adopting regional measures that facilitate the identification, recording, preservation, and dissemination of the diverse and unique cultural heritage of the partner states. Convinced that it's necessary and urgent for the community to institutionalize the inclusion of cultural heritage knowledge and skills in the curricula for sustainability and development. Further convinced that it's necessary for the community to put in place measures to facilitate the preservation and conservation of the good traditions, customs, and the practices of the people of East Africa, to promote the showcasing of cultural heritage artifacts, establish the cultural centers of excellence, and promote cultural exchanges among the people of East Africa. Aware that under Article 59, sub-article 1 of the treaty, any member may propose any motion to introduce any bill in the Assembly. Recognizing that Rule 65, sub-rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly requires that a private member's bill shall be introduced first by way of motion, to which shall be attached the proposed draft of the bill. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Assembly as follows: that in accordance with Article 49, sub-article 1, and 59, sub-article 1 of the treaty, and Rule 64, sub-rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly, the Assembly grants leave to myself, Honorable Francois Umukiza, to introduce a bill entitled the East African Community Cultural Heritage Bill to promote the identification and the preservation of the diverse cultural heritage of the community and protect the traditional, cultural, and local values and the heritage of the people of the community. Mr. Speaker, I have further justification. If you allow me, I may add some few justification as well.
Yes, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I took time to revise some EAC documents with the same. And also, I met some potential stakeholders to discuss about this inclusion of cultural heritage, preservation, and so on. And this at the level of partner states and also at the EAC level. The justification I would like to add is that I looked at the EAC development strategy 2011-2012 up to 2015-2016. And under its priority area number 4, it shows promotion of regional social cohesion and economic development through culture and sports. And Mr. Speaker, I found some items that they were committed. So I'm talking of the Council of Ministers, together with the Secretariat, of course. They were committed to initiate some efforts, such as promote the joint financing of regional culture and sports programs and establishment of EAC culture and sports funds. I doubt these funds were established. Maybe the council will try to add something about this. And also I found that with the same strategy, they were also committed to create an enabling environment for private sector investment in culture and the sports industry, for employment creation and improvement of household incomes. And then initiating and implementing a regular program for organizing EAC cultural and sports events. These ones, I acknowledge the efforts of the Council of Ministers and the Secretariat to initiate the JAMA Fest, the EAC JAMA Fest, that is like sport tournaments, those ones are in place. But also, they were also assigned to strengthen the collaboration between the EAC and the regional or international organizations, such as UNESCO and FIFA, in the promotion and development of culture and sports. And also, they had planned to have weekly military also culture event. And that one, I haven't heard about it. As we talk of UNESCO, which is also supporting partner states, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say that some EAC partner states adhered to some conventions under UNESCO, and we have state parties that are with UNESCO. For instance, Burundi ratified the convention of UNESCO on 19 May 1982. And Kenya joined this called acceptance, and Rwanda, Uganda, and the United Republic of Tanzania also ratified the convention, and the South Sudan also ratified that convention. These are good things for us, for this bill we are looking to have, because it will be the effort to support our partner state to join or to let also EAC know about what they are doing internationally. And also allow me also to say something about World Heritage sites that partner states have submitted to UNESCO to be acknowledged. Rwanda does not have any World Heritage site, but it has 2 proposals on the tentative list. Those proposals are, they were in French. I will try to translate. Site Memorial de Génocide, genocide memorial sites, Nyamata, Murambi, Bisesero, and Gisozi. That was in 2012. Then Parc National de Nyungwe, this Nyungwe National Park, 2021. If we come to URT, they have 7 World Heritage sites under UNESCO. They have a cultural ones, 3, Kondowa Rock Art Sites, 2006, ruins of Kilwa, Kisiwani, and the ruins of Songo Munara, 1981, Stone Town of Zanzibar, 2000. And they have also natural ones, there are 3, Kilimanjaro National Park, Silas
Honorable Francois, my worry is,
yes,
if we go into the details, you so much details, you will possibly exhaust what you will do when we, because at this stage, we are just dealing with the minimum you need to convince members that you need to introduce this bill.
Okay. As I convince members, let me leave all those, elaborated items because they are already done. Let me just add that as we are talking of cultural heritage, traditional or customs, some of our items were taken abroad during colonialism. I can't miss to say about this because we need our artifacts back to our partners, repatriated. There are many of them. For instance, in Rwanda, they received, like more than 4,000 songs from the Belgium government. So it's possible. And even the Republic of France has given like 26 artifacts to the Republic of Benin. So these things are just possible, and I convince members to support this request. I'm seeking leave so that I can continue and dig up together with the ACG, together with the Council of Ministers, so that we can make this piece a good one to support the EAC people in terms of cultural identity. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Francoise. Now, honorable members, I propose the motion. The motion before the House is that this assembly, pursuant to the provisions of Article 59, Sub-Article 1 of the treaty and Rule 64, Sub-Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly, do resolve to grant leave to Honorable Francoise Mukiza to introduce a private member's bill entitled, I quote, the East African Community Cultural Heritage Bill 2021, end of quote. Debate is open. Who was is there a co-sponsor? The second Honorable Mary will be first, then Honorable Dr. Ambassador Fatuma, Honorable Dr. Wada Jeremiah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I raise to support this motion seeking leave of the Assembly to introduce a bill to promote the preservation and promotion of the diverse cultural heritage of the community. Mr. Speaker, on the onset, I would like to start by congratulating and thanking my sister, Honorable Mukiza, for finding time and taking this initiative to bring this bill, because I believe the motion, if granted, will be followed by a bill, and then hopefully by a law enacted by EALA. It is actually surprising that this is a matter of the treaty. If you look at Article 119, particularly Section C, it clearly talks about, it states, the partner states shall promote close cooperation among themselves in culture and sports with respect to A, B, and C, the promotion of cultural activities, including the fine arts, literature, music and the performing arts, and other artistic creations, and the preservation and safeguarding and development of the cultural heritage of the partner states, including the historical materials and antiquities. So from EALA 1, 2, 3, now we are in EALA 4, almost coming to the end, this part of the treaty, this particular article, has not been serviced by law. This is why I want to thank Honorable Francoise Mukiza for bringing this motion today. Mr. Speaker, we all agree that our cultural heritage is a resource that we need to preserve. As a matter of fact, as she mentioned, during the colonial days, this was very highly exploited. And even today, when you visit the museums of the former colonial powers, you will realize how much they valued our cultures, our art, our recreation, to the extent that they still have them in their national museums. We all know and agree, and quite often, we have talked proudly of how our culture is rich, how our heritage is worth preservation. And this is exactly what this bill proposed is supposed to do, to preserve, promote our cultural heritage. Mr. Speaker, the people of East Africa are one, we are same. The most important aspect of our sameness that binds us together is the similarities within our cultural practices, our languages that we share across our borders, our arts and recreation, our dances. There is just too much. And I don't think that we need to overlabor that. Even the motto of the East African community says it all. Our people are one people with one destiny. And by harmonizing our cultural heritage to the extent that we can be able to use it to bring us together. Just take an example of next month, when our people's representatives from all our parliaments will be assembled here to share. And I hope there will be an opportunity indeed, where cultural exhibitions, dances, even languages will be shared during that time. Let's even look for our attires, and you'll see how there's so much commonalities. Let's probably have a dinner where we are sharing our cultural cuisine, which is so similar. We eat the same food, essentially. So I think that, Mr. Speaker, if there is anything that would quickly put us together as a people in the spirit of integration, is the realization that we need to protect and promote our cultural heritage, which we share. If you look around across our borders, you realize that people across the borders are the same, and all over. Just this afternoon, I was reflecting on the borders of my own country, Uganda, just from the western side with DRC, where the same people are in DRC and others are in Uganda. In fact, because DRC's size is bigger, we tend to have fewer people of the same tribe as many more people in countries that are bigger than us. And that is the same across the border with South Sudan, where people share the same languages, practices, even looks. Recently, we are at the border with South Sudan. My colleagues in the committee of ICT will acknowledge that we saw more similarities where people actually, the border becomes artificial. We are sharing everything, including language. More of our people on the side of South Sudan, by the mere fact that it is a bigger territory again. Now, I come across the western side of Kenya vis-a-vis the eastern side of Uganda. Same thing. We have had an experience where people from two brothers, one was a vice president in Kenya, and another brother was a member of parliament, later on a minister in Parliament of Uganda. We are the same people. When I go down south, I speak the same language as the people of northern Tanzania, the Republic of Tanzania, the areas of Karagwe, of Bukoba, same language, same people. Same thing between Rwanda and Uganda without any doubt. Therefore, all these commonalities need to be protected and bound in law so that then we have a tool that we can use to enhance, exploit. As I started by saying, it's a resource. Honorable members, I don't expect that this motion is going to face a problem. Just look at the development strategy, the EAC development strategy 2011-12, 2015-16. Priority area number 4 talks about promotion of regional social cohesion and economic development through culture and sports. Under such strategic interventions that are spelled out, A talks about harmonization of policies, laws, guidelines, programs, and standards in culture and sports subsector. This is exactly what we are seeking to do today. This bill seeks to harmonize laws of the member states to be able to promote and preserve our common heritage. We also realized through research on this matter that most of the partner states have laws that govern the preservation and promotion of culture and recreation. However, these laws are not harmonized across the region. We therefore need an act of the community to be on the same legal page. This is exactly what the member seeks to do. Honorable Mukiza seeks to do exactly what is needed and has identified the gap and wishes to bridge it. Those partner states that have not legislated on the matter will be urged to do it by having a community law. Some countries have established heritage and cultural institutions, others have not. Again, once we have a community law, the Secretariat and the entire community will join hands to drive the need to harmonize our common heritage and cultures. I wish to support and submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mary. Honorable Fatuma.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. At the outset, I'd like to start by congratulating Honorable James Magode Ikuya, the newly sworn-in member of EALA and State Minister responsible for EAC from the Republic of Uganda, and want to assure him that we shall cooperate with him and welcome him to our assembly. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the motion of Honorable Francoise seeking leave of the Assembly to introduce the bill related to preservation and promotion of diverse cultural heritage of the community. Honorable Francoise and the Honorable Mary have been so eloquent in justifying the purpose of this bill, and I think this is a straightforward bill, and I hope all members will support Honorable Francoise seeking leave so that she can produce such an important bill that will not only help the community abide by the strict obligation of preservation and conserving culture, but also promote the diversity of our cultures as East Africans, and also contribute to the socio-economic development of our region. When I was looking at the motion, I was attracted to page 2 on the first paragraph, recognizing that preserving, safeguarding, and promoting the cultural heritage of the people of East Africa contributes to promoting cultural tourism and marketing of the products, showcasing the diverse cultural heritage of the community. Honorable members, you all know that tourism is one of the largest foreign exchange earners and fastest growing sectors in the EAC. Of course, today, because of COVID, this sector has been devastated. According to a study by the African Economic Research Consortium that was conducted in 2019, tourist arrivals in the EAC region increased from 3.5 million persons in 2006 to about 7 million in 2019. And tourism contributed to GDP of EAC partner states by an average of 9.5% in 2019. It also contributed an average of 17.2% to the EAC total exports. However, due to COVID, these figures have gone down. We've lost international tourism receipts to the tune of US 4.8 billion in the year 2020. And the number of foreign tourists has reduced to 2 million. And of course, this implies that we've lost so many jobs, so many livelihoods have been affected. Hospitality industry has been affected. The reason I was coming up with that analogy is to link tourism and the purpose of this bill, which includes promoting culture tourism and marketing of our products. Because we know with COVID, it's so difficult for this tourism sector to revive. It will take years. But one asset or one area that I think we can compete better than anyone is in the area of culture. Our cultures are unique to us. Has got rich cultural diversity, whether it is our way of life, but also some traditions. I'll give you an example. In Rwanda, in the aftermath of '94 genocide, one of the challenges that we faced was dealing with thousands of genocide cases. The courts at home were overwhelmed, but also ICTR was taking so long to try suspects of genocide. And as you know, justice delayed is justice denied. So we came up with the homegrown innovation based on our tradition called the gachacha. The gachacha was a homegrown restorative form of justice that not only was promoting justice, but also reconciliation. And in a space of like 10 years, we were able to try over 1 million cases with little money, using our own inyangamugayo, the persons of integrity, ordinary Rwandese, but it also contributed to healing and reconciliation of our community. And today we can talk about development. The last one is what we call Kwitizina. You know, gorillas are an endangered species, but they contribute to our tourism. I think both Rwanda, Uganda, and also DRC, they share these rare species on the world. But we've come up with a ceremony called Kwitizina, which is embedded in our tradition. It means naming the baby gorillas. So once a baby gorilla is born, every year around June, we invite guests all over the world to come and name the gorillas. And this has not only contributed to raising awareness about conservation, but it has also contributed to boosting tourism, because when they come, they also leave dollars. So for me, I think culture, tourism, and the purpose of this bill will indeed help the community to be creative in promoting tourism, to be creative in dealing with our own challenges. So with those, I really want to support the motion and urge you all to support granting leave to Honorable Francois. I submit. Right, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ambassador Fatou. Honorable Dr. Woda.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And first of all, I want to add my voice and congratulate and welcome Honorable James, our new council member, who's from his introduction, we have got that he is a freedom fighter, a diplomat, and a seasoned politician. So he's welcome among us. Right Honorable Speaker, heritage and culture define communities and nations, regions, and continents. Without culture, without traditions, you cannot be defined. And it is very important as a region that we keep and preserve our cultures. Right Honorable Speaker, as East African and as African at large, we have very unique cultures. We have unique dressing, we have unique food, unique hospitality, even the way we dance. And this is one of the reasons why tourists come to our regions, not just to see the natural beauty, but also to mingle with us and to see the dances, eat our very diverse food. And also we have different languages, which we really have to keep them because these are our dialects and we don't have to erase them. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm very happy that Honorable Francois brought this bill because, or this motion, which will be in a form of bill, because we have many craft arts and traditional monuments which were taken from our region. And I know that me, as somebody who comes from a kingdom who has been fighting with those of El Mahdi, it was a movement in Sudan, which was an Islamic movement, and also it was a political movement by the 18th centuries. We have some of our cultural dressing, our traditional also shields, which were and weapons, traditional weapons, which were taken, and they're still now in Sudan in a place called Omdurman, where we had by then as Sudan, the National Museum. And also, apart from this, we have some monuments, and we have this art craft, which are taken as far as to Britain, because these were also people who were taking our regions. Right, Honorable Speaker, one of the reasons why South Sudan really sought to be independent is that some people wanted to erase our cultures. And some people wanted us to follow norms and cultures which don't belong to us. And that's why we fought and we became an independent country. So this is very important. And I'm very sure it's important for a country like South Sudan, who is working very hard through the Ministry of Culture, to start our national museum. I think this will help us, and I want to congratulate my sister, Honorable Francoise, and support her in this motion. I beg to support Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wood. Honorable members, now, since, just a moment, since this is just seeking leave, and because we intended to adjourn early so that members can go for training, to train for the interparliamentary games, and we have a report to be read, and we wouldn't want to cut a report short. Wouldn't it be a good idea that we wind up this one? Yes. So if there is any comment from the council? Okay, then Honorable Francoise, wind up before I put a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm going to be brief because cultural heritage is East African community identity. There is no doubt that we are seeking, what Honorable Dr. Woda and other honorable members said, that we need to be, to have our own identity to be characterized. No one else can come and force us to live the way we don't want. Let me just thank members that contributed to this request for me to seek leave. Honorable Mary as the seconder. I thank Honorable Ambassador Fatuma, Honorable Dr. Woda, other honorable members that were ready to support it, because I could read in your mind. Thank you very much. Yeah.
That is a very important comment. Thank you so much, Honorable Francoise. Honorable members, I now put the question. That this assembly, pursuant to provisions of Article 59, Sub-Article 1 of the Treaty and Rules, and Rule 64, Sub-Rule 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly, do resolve to grant leave to Honorable Francoise Muchiza to introduce a private members bill entitled the East African Community Cultural Heritage Bill 2021. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So Honorable Francoise, can you go ahead and introduce the bill?
We proceed to the next item, report.
Honorable Musamali. The microphone is not on. You can, okay.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I'm rising on a matter of procedure, and much as this matter is in your hands, it's on the issue of the order paper, and just from the business we have just transacted, since the item number 6 on the order paper is also as short as item number 4. I was proposing that probably we seek your indulgence. We had just the order paper and bring forward item number 6, such that we shall have enough time to debate item.
Okay, Honorable Musamali, the request to reorganize the order paper is granted.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
So let's proceed like that.
We proceed to item number 6, the order paper.
So Honorable
Motion seeking leave of the Assembly to introduce a private members bill to amend the East African Legislative Assembly Elections Act to extend the time for conducting elections, allow national assemblies more time to conclude the national process relating to the elections by way of motion.
Yes, on the order paper, it is Honorable Adam Kimbisa. Honorable Fancy.
Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kimbisa has asked me to stand on his behalf.
Yes, just a moment. Let me be sure. Is there a requirement? Is there a protocol to be performed under the rules when this kind of function is being delegated? I am not sure. I just wanted to be sure whether it is possible to just, especially when it is a bill. Can you just delegate? Huh? I remember once we had a situation about the motion and we required that there must be some written request, written authorization. So let's do this. Because I want to admit I'm not certain about the rules, whether there is a requirement for this kind of a delegation to be done in writing. And I will prioritize this as soon as Honorable Adam Kimbisa is back. So we have lost nothing, basically. So if he is here tomorrow, it will be immediately prioritized.
Mr.
Okay.
Speaker, sir.
Yes, Honorable Mary.
Mr. Speaker, since we are not certain about the rules, between now and tomorrow, isn't it possible to look at the rules so that we can be able to see whether another member can stand in for Honorable Kimbisa? That does not need more than a
You
day.
see, this motion
Yeah.
is not yet before the House. So anyone interested can pick it, can grab it from him. Because it is not yet in the House. So if there is a similar request, a different name can appear on the order paper. But there is something I'm being shown here. Rule 29, a member who has a motion standing in his or her name may authorize in writing some other member to move the motion in or on his or her state. So there is a requirement for this to be in writing. So if for some reason the Honorable Kimbisa is not here tomorrow, still the Honorable Fancy can proceed, but with something written from him. That is Rule 29, sub 1.
Report of the Committee on Accounts on the progress made in the construction of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission headquarters and RMV Jumuiya by way of motion.
Honorable Chairperson, Committee on Accounts.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I will try to debrief since it's a brief report. I will immediately begin on page 5, item number 1.2 on the methodology.
First, remove the motion.
I beg to, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I beg to move the motion on the report of the Committee on Accounts on the oversight activity to the Lake Victoria Basin Commission to assess the progress made in construction of the Lvbc Headquarters and the mechanical functioning of the RV Jumuiya.
Seconder. Honorable Leontine, Honorable Nakauchi, Honorable Thomas, Honorable Claude, Honorable Jean-Pierre, Pierre Claver, and all members standing. Honorable Chair, now you can proceed and present the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'll start from page 5 with item number 1.2 on methodology. The committee adopted the following methodology.
Procedure.
Honorable Dr. Karinda.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I think it is important to start from the introduction. You cannot start from the methodology when you did not introduce the subject matter.
Honorable, thank you. Honorable Chair, Honorable Kalonzo Kenny had exchanged notes with me. He's actually concerned with the time constraints, but I advised you that you proceed normally and leave the rest to me. So what I meant is you read the report as it is. Now the time management is for me to handle. Thank you.
I stand guided, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you. So I'll start from page 4 on the introduction. The East Africa Legislative Assembly in its is a legislative organ of the East African community responsible for, amongst other things, carrying out the oversight function on all matters pertaining to the community. Article 49(2)(c) of the treaty establishing the East African community empowers the Committee on Accounts to discharge the oversight function on behalf of the Assembly on all financial matters of the community. According to Annex 5 of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly, the Committee on Accounts is mandated to 1, carry out a post-audit review and scrutiny for the expenditure incurred by the EAC Secretariat, organs and institutions of the committee, and the sums appropriated in the annual budget approved by EALA upon presentation of the chairperson of the Council of Ministers of the EAC. 2, carry out post-audit review and scrutiny of the expenditure on the basis of an annual audit report of the Audit Commission pursuant to provisions of Article 49(2)(c) and Article 134 of the Treaty for the establishment of the East Africa Community. This function involves scrutinizing and evaluating the performance of the budget. 3, carry out post-audit function that encompasses the monitoring and implementation of the budget in a manner similar to internal audit pursuant to Rule 74(1) of the Rules of Procedure of the Assembly. And 4, present a report with recommendations to the House for consideration, approval, and adoption after the post-audit review and scrutiny. Article 134(3) of the treaty requires the Audit Commission to submit its reports to the Council, which shall cause the same to be laid on the floor of the Assembly within 6 months of receipt for debate, adoption, and such other action as the Assembly may deem necessary. Over the last couple of years, the Accounts Committee, as mandated by the above statutory obligations, has undertaken oversight to assess the level of implementation of the Assembly's recommendations on the EAC audited accounts. It is on this premise that the Committee on Accounts undertook this oversight activity to assess the progress made in the construction of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission headquarters and the mechanical functioning of vessel RV Jumuiya. Objectives of the activity. The objectives of the activity was to assess: 1, the progress of construction of the Lvbc headquarters; 2, to evaluate the mechanical state of RV Jumuiya; and 3, to assess the governance and management systems of Lvbc. I'll move to page 5 on methodology. The committee adopted the following methodology in compiling this report: 1, interaction and discussion with the management of Lvbc; 2, review of the Accounts Committee reports for financial year ending 2017-2018; 3, received presentations from the management of Lvbc on governance management systems as well as the performance of various projects Lvbc is currently undertaking; 4, perused and studied the relevant literature pertaining to Lvbc; 5, undertook field visits to the proposed sites for the Lvbc headquarters and visited the RV Jumuiya vessel in Mwanza, Tanzania; and 6, held a committee meeting to discuss the report. Progress made by Lvbc in the construction of Lake Victoria Basin Commission headquarters. The government of Kenya donated prime land of area 2.8 hectares to the East African community along the shores of Lake Victoria to establish headquarters for Lvbc. Consequently, in order to kickstart the process of constructing the headquarters, Lvbc management contacted the Kenya government. The government thereafter designated the State Department of Public Works to carry out the architectural designs and drawings of the proposed headquarters. An estimated cost of USD 3.54 million for the headquarters to be completed was then arrived at. Accordingly, Lvbc management submitted the estimates to the 36th meeting of the EAC Council of Ministers. The Council directed Lvbc to develop a phased construction proposal and present it to the 37th meeting of the EAC Council of Ministers for review. Subsequently, the meeting approved the use of the reserve fund to the tune of $1.35 million towards the implementation of the first phase of the Lvbc HQ construction project. This amount was withdrawn from the EAC General Reserve and transferred to Lvbc. A reserve account was thus created for the purpose of funding the project. The construction of the Lvbc HQ first phase commenced and is in the advanced stages and is expected to end in January 2022. The Lake Victoria Basin Commission relocated to its permanent headquarters in Kisumu, Kenya in January 2007. Consequently, a headquarters agreement between the government of Kenya and the East African Community on behalf of Lvbc was signed, and the agreement, among others, provided for the headquarters seat for the commission to be in Kisumu, Kenya. It is against this background that the government of the Republic of Kenya donated a piece of prime land along the shores of area measuring 2.8 hectares, then valued at 560,000 United States dollars. Pursuant to a number of council directives and decisions, LVBC prepared and reviewed designs and architectural drawings whose costs were estimated at US dollars 3.54 million. These were considered by the 36 EAC Council as directed by its SECOM LVBC stroke SC 18 stroke decision 32. The 36 Council directed LVBC to develop a proposal for phase construction and submit it to the 37th meeting of the Council of Ministers. Subsequently, the 37th Council approved the use of the reserve fund to the tune of $1.53 million towards construction of the first phase of the Lvbc headquarters. The 37th EAC Council decided that the funds for the initial phase of construction of the Lvbc headquarters, amounting to US dollars 1.35 million, be drawn from the EAC General Reserve Fund. Thus, the 38th extraordinary meeting of the Council of Ministers then adopted the supplementary budget of US dollars 1.35 million, which was sourced from the EAC General Reserve Fund for the financial year 2018-2019 for the first phase of construction of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission headquarters. The proposed Lake Victoria Basin Commission headquarters was designed as an ultra-modern office complex with two distinct wings. This is because of the fact that the concept is derived from the nature and mission of the East Africa community to unify the people of the countries within the East Africa region as it coordinates sustainable development, hence the seemingly embarrassing footprint of the layout. The complete project will comprise of 3 stories, ground floor, first floor, and second floor, joined by a central core which mainly constitutes transitional spaces, a lift and a staircase, lobbies, as well as common facilities such as security checkpoints. Each of the wings will accommodate office spaces, both pool and enclosed offices with modern drywall aluminum partitions. Each wing also has common washrooms. The elongated design appearance of the building takes into consideration the vertical height limit due to the site location, as well as the expensive nature of the lake. The concept also propagates openness and transparency in the design layout. Schedule of areas. The total area of the building is 4,500 square meters distributed as follows, which is equally the ground floor has 1,500 square meters, the first floor has 1,500 square meters, second floor has 1,500 square meters. The construction is being conducted in a phased manner with the initial phase estimated cost of 1.35 million US dollars. The tender for construction was advertised and awarded to MS Tariff Enterprises. The site was handed over in December 2020, and construction of the initial phase is now underway and expected to be complete early 2022. The Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development through the State Department of Public Works appointed officers from the State Department of Public Works who offered technical expertise in finalizing and fast-tracking approval of designs for the construction of the headquarters and preparation of a bill of quantities for the project. The ministry was subsequently appointed as a project management team to provide oversight supervision on the project. I'm now on page 7 on the current status. Construction is now underway and the current works of this phase will see completion of the first and second floor of one wing, substructure of the third floor of the said wing. The construction of the foundation will be done in entirety for seamless continuity on the construction of subsequent phase. The following are the summary of work progress report. 1, ground floor slab, including foundation, 98% completed. Ground floor masonry walling, 78% completed. First floor slab, 100% completed. Second floor slab, wing A, 100% completed. Second floor core in progress completed. Formwork 40% completed, steelwork 10% completed, electrical works A on conduiting, ground floor 60% completed, first floor 60% completed, second floor 40% completed, the rest in progress. Mechanical works, A, conduiting, ground floor 30% done, first floor 30% done, second floor 25% done, in progress. Annex 1 pictures which are attached to the report show the progress of the construction of the Lvbc headquarters. Committee observations and recommendations. A, lack of funds to implement the next phase of the Lvbc headquarters construction project. The initial cost of construction of the Lvbc headquarters was estimated at a cost of $3.5 million. Council of Ministers adopted the supplementary budget of 1.35 million, which was now sourced from the EAC General Reserve, thus leaving a balance of $2.19 million. The committee observed that the Lvbc doesn't have the remaining funds for the next phase, estimated to be $2.19 million, to enable completion of the headquarters construction and its use therefore. Moreover, the $2.19 does not include the jetty, furnishing, and the equipment. Now on page 8, the committee urges the Assembly to recommend to the Council of Ministers to expedite the approval of an allocation of an additional $2.19 million from the EAC General Reserve to complete the HQ construction project. B, Lvbc Headquarters. Lvbc is currently housed at the 12th and 13th floor of the Prosperity House, a space that was provided by the government of Kenya. The need to establish a regionally located headquarters is of paramount importance. Having Lvbc domicile at its own home will not only be a strategic milestone, but will also strengthen the visibility of the East Africa community and the Lvbc. In addition, it will establish a permanent home capable of meeting operational needs of the Lvbc. This in turn will not only be an investment for the EAC, but will also be a huge capital gain for the EAC. Thus, the committee reiterates the Assembly to recommend the Council of Ministers, as noted above, to avail the remaining funds such that the project is completed on time. C, provision for docking the RV Jumuiya. The committee was informed that the funds that were approved by the Council were to cater for only the construction of the Lvbc headquarters and does not cater for the construction of the pier for the RV Jumuiya. Leaving out the pier for the Jumuiya will imply that the vessel will continue to be docked at Mwanza without close supervision of the Lvbc management. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to direct the management of Lvbc to formulate qualitative estimates such that an expanded pier can be constructed at which the RV Jumuiya can dock. The expanded pier will be hired out to other vessels, generating income for Lvbc. D, steady and good quality works at the site. The committee observed that the quality of works and the rate at which the construction of the Lvbc headquarters was progressing was fairly fast and on schedule. The committee further observed that the completed sections are solid and have been professionally executed with appropriate metals, aggregates, and concrete used for such kinds of structure. The committee thus commends Lvbc for this endeavor. As the committee applauds the Lvbc for this development, it urges the Lvbc not to lose track and emphasizes that all resources that are dispersed to the Lvbc for this endeavor project should be meaningfully utilized and ensure that the best results are obtained. Now on page 9, field visit to inspect the research vessel RV Jumuiya. Basis for the committee field visit to Mwanza, 3.2. RV Jumuiya was constructed in the United Kingdom in 1990 and began her maiden voyage in Lake Nyasa in Malawi for lake-wide acoustic surveys and other research activities before being transferred to Lake Victoria in 2006. RV Jumuiya, among other activities, was used by Lvbc in carrying out research and the various programs and projects. For over 10 years, the vessel has been currently out of service, awaiting repairs and revalidation of relevant shipping certificates. Thus, the objectives under which the vessel was acquired have now been realized, and Lvbc continues to incur the expenses of payments of salaries of the captain and the engineer, was stationed at the vessel, which remains non-functioning. Therefore, it is against this background that the Committee on Accounts resolved to undertake an oversight activity to assess the governance management systems of the LVBC, the progress made in the construction of Lake Victoria Basin Commission Headquarters, and the functioning of RV Jumuiya. The activity was carried out from 6 to 9 September 2021 in Kisumu, Kenya, and Mwanza, Tanzania, respectively. The committee undertook a field visit to Mwanza, Tanzania to carry out a field inspection on the research vessel RV Jumuiya. This came against the background of the fact that the Audit Commission raised audit issues that the Lvbc had continued to pay salaries amounting to $411,803 to Mr. Peter K. Nkwama and Mr. Herman A. Bunjala, who are employed as engineer and captain respectively. The vessel has been out of operation for the past 10 years. The audit further reported that further scrutiny of payroll records and site visits carried out on 31st October 2019 revealed that the Lvbc management continued to pay salaries to 2 staff amounting to $58,829 for the year under audit. The vessel was yet to be functional due to issues of floating dock, expired certificates, and lack of budget for maintenance and repair costs. This implies that the total cost of salaries paid for the last 8 years has accumulated to $470,632. Upon this, during the formulation of the committee work plan, it was resolved that a field visit be undertaken. 3.2.1 Current status of the research vessel RV Jumuiya. Research vessel RV Jumuiya is a property of EAC Lvbc and is currently docked at Mwanza Southport, United Republic of Tanzania. It was constructed in the United Kingdom in 1990 and began her maiden voyage in Lake Nyasa in Malawi for lake-wide acoustic service and other such activities. The vessel was successfully transferred from Chilumba Port in Lake Nyasa to Mwanza Port and donated to the EAC Secretariat by the Department of the International Development of the UK. DFID on 29th May 2006. RV Jumuiya, among other activities, has been used by the Lvbc in carrying out research under various projects and conducting bathymetric hydrographic surveys for the ports of Mwanza, Port Bell, and Kisumu. Some pictures of RV Jumuiya are attached as Annex 2. Particulars of RV Jumuiya and specifications. The following particulars of RV Jumuiya and her adjacent rigid inflatable boat. 1. RV Jumuiya particulars. Name of vessel is RV Jumuiya, formerly USIPA. Vessel type is a research vessel. Port of registry Mwanza. Year of registry 2006. Name of the owner, Secretary General, EAC. Identification official number is MZ-P 012. Year of manufacture is 1990. Country where vessel was built is the United Kingdom. Overall length is 15.1 meters by 7.17 meters. The draft is 1.9 meters. Speed is 8 knots. Maximum number of passengers the vessel can carry is 28. Number of set of engines is 2. Fuel capacity is 6,500 liters. Laboratories, wet and dry lab, each 4 meters by 1 meter. Anchor capable of anchoring in 50 meters. 2. Rigid inflatable boat, RIB, particulars and specifications. The rigid inflatable boat is a lightweight but high performance and high capacity and seekable boat constructed with a rigid hull joined to the side forming air tubes. Its resilient rigidity along with the boat's top sides are to handle any situation safely and effectively. The following particulars of the adjacent rigid inflatable boat. Overall length is 570 centimeters. Overall width is 196 centimeters. Model is SXV 570/19. Tube diameter is 50 centimeters. Maximum power is 100 horsepower. Maximum number of passengers is 12. Our package size is 510 by 190 by 100. Equipment is canopy, 100-liter tank, light cover ladder, and ski plier. Money, one master captain and one chief engineer are running the RV Jumuiya. For functioning status of the RV Jumuiya. RV Jumuiya is currently out of service, awaiting repairs, dry docking and revalidation of relevant certificates. In 2017, the Lvbc Secretariat invited potential bidders to submit their proposals to undertake the specified repairs and dry docking of the RV Jumuiya. From the submitted proposals, Lvbc developed a plan to dry dock and repair the RV Jumuiya in 3 phases, which approximately total cost was $81,825. Lvbc budgeted for this assignment in the annual budget, but because of funding constraints, it was not successful. During the 19th meeting of the Sectoral Council of Ministers for Lake Victoria Basin held on 22nd June 2018 in Entebbe, Uganda, Council directed the Lvbc Secretary to undertake a comprehensive assessment and cost-benefit analysis of RV Jumuiya to inform a decision on a way forward and report to the next Lvbc SECOM. Since the directive was issued, it has been difficult to undertake the repairs due to the budgetary and funding constraints. For instance, the partner states approved a budget for maritime for the financial year 2020-2021 was $5,500, and for the financial year 2021-2022, it was reduced to $2,600. Owing to the necessity and urgency of the matter, Lvbc management resolved to effect some relocations within various budget lines, since the approved budget did not provide funds for the repair of the vessel. Upon effecting relocations, the management engaged the Dar es Salaam Maritime Institute to carry out the assessment and cost-benefit analysis of RV Jumuiya at a cost of $10,990. The cost-benefit analysis of repairing the vessel commenced on 4th October 2021. Committee observations. The outlook of the RV Jumuiya is impressive and is still in good shape, taking into consideration the year it was built. The engines and gearboxes were replaced with new ones. A typical life expectancy of research vessel like RV Jumuiya is more than 70 years. The rigid inflatable boat attached to the RV Jumuiya 2 appears to be in good condition, and even though it also needs some repairs. The vessel has mechanical problems that need to be addressed during the dry docking if it is to pass the seaworthy inspection and be licensed to operate again. RV Jumuiya certificate of seaworthiness expired in June 2012. Thus, she needs to be dry docked and inspected before another one can be issued. Furthermore, other certificates for ship registration and safe manning have also expired. 4. The certificates for the master, captain, and chief engineer of the RV Jumuiya expired and need to be validated in accordance with the 2010 STCW Manila Amendments to the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers of 1978. Committee recommendations. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to 1. Urgently avail funding to undertake repairs of RV Jumuiya of USD 81,825. Despite the good outlook of RV Jumuiya, the vessel has known some mechanical problems that need to be addressed during dry docking as stated above. Continuous maintenance and extensive upgrade will significantly prolong the vessel's lifespan, and improve her performance for many years to come. The committee was informed that the cost-benefit analysis carried out by the Dar es Salaam Maritime Institute established the cost of repairs and maintenance and dry docking of the RV Jumuiya and estimated it at $93,305. Lvbc does not have a budget line for this item. 2. Expiration of certificates. Certificates seaworthiness classifies whether a ship has passed the required tests and safety checks to be able to sail without any mishaps. It determines whether or not the ship has been properly assessed, outfitted, maintained in accordance with admiralty law. A certificate will provide classification and statutory services and assistance to the maritime industry and regulatory bodies as regards maritime safety based on the accumulation of maritime knowledge and technology. As it has been reported, the vessel has been out of service for a period of about 10 years, and this compromises its mechanical and functional integrity. The committee was further informed that the expiry of the certificates of the captain and the engineer is nearly coming to 5 years since expiry. The implication is that if the engineer and captain do not undertake recertification course, they will need to start a fresh 18-month course in order to operate the vessel. Without the recertification for the engineer and captain, they cannot obtain the seaworthiness certificate, which is a mandatory requirement to operate. The implication is both the vessel and staff who man it will have to be tandem. As a matter of urgency, Lvbc should be revalidated the certificates for seaworthiness, registration, and safe manning with the Tanzanian registry immediately after dry docking and repairs have been done to the vessel. B, the sailing certificates for Captain Peter Nkwama and Engineer Bundala should be renewed in accordance with the 2010 STCW Manila Amendments to the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping for Seafarers, 1978. The revalidation of their certificates can be done at the Dar es Salaam Maritime Institute. 3, a flagship bearer of the EAC community. As reported above, RV Jumuiya is an important facility for undertaking research and rescue services in Lake Victoria. It is a flagship bearer of the East Africa community and the only major research vessel in the region. The committee therefore observe and recommend that it is imperative to keep the vessel in good working condition through proper maintenance and timely repairs, which will provide a safe environment for crew and equipment. 4, governance management challenges issues at Lvbc, meeting with the Lvbc management. The committee interacted with acting executive secretary of the Lake Victoria Basin Commission and his management team. The committee briefed the executive secretary on the purpose of the mission and oversight activity and appreciate the timely and high level of preparedness the Lvbc had exhibited interacting with the committee. The acting executive secretary presented an overview of the mandate functions of the Lvbc and the systems the commission has put in place to address persistent challenges Lvbc is facing. He further presented an overview of the mandate of the Lvbc and reported that due to its geographical proximity, Lake Victoria is hydrologically delineated. It covers an area of approximately 183,000 square kilometers, with the lake surface covering about 68,000 square kilometers, approximately the size of Ireland. This makes it the second largest freshwater body in the world after Lake Superior in North America, with 82,100 square kilometers. It is on this basis that the EAC partner states designated the lake as an area of high economic interest and the regional economic growth to be developed jointly by all East African countries. He highlighted the various achievements and the performance of the various programs and projects at the Lvbc. He noted that the various projects had been formulated at Lvbc and had yielded some positive results, which have led to enhanced and intensified resource mobilization. These have resulted into inflows of various donor-funded projects that are geared at governing and protecting the Lake Victoria Basin. 4.2, performance of programs and projects. Article 3 of the protocol establishing the Lvbc provides for areas that the partner states agree to cooperate in and undertake sustainable conservation measures that can be used in the management of the resources within the basin. The protocol establishing the Lvbc provides for the scope of cooperation that include 1, water resource management, management of fishery resources, sustainable agriculture and land use, including irrigation, sustainable management of forestry resources, development and management of wetlands, trade, commerce, and industrial development, infrastructure and energy development, navigation, safety and maritime security, improvement of public health, research, capacity building and information exchange, environmental protection and management, public participation in planning and decision-making, gender mainstreaming and wildlife conservation, and sustainable tourism development. 4.3, major development potentials within the Lvbc. The major source of development potential within Lake Victoria Basin include: one, a source of water for domestic and industrial use. About 87 cities and towns with 60% coverage benefit from the lake. Two, rich fishery resource. In 2011, yielding about more than 1 million metric tons annually, which translates to about US dollars 250 million. Hydropower potential production of about 720 megawatts. Rich agricultural soils. Lake Victoria Basin is endowed with rich fertile soil ideal for a wide range of crops. It also falls within a good agro-fertile zone. In terms of transport, the Lvbc is strategically connected through all modes of transport, thereby providing shorter interstate links or routes. The ecosystem function largely supports a huge biodiversity, terrestrial and aquatic systems, which are approximately 4,000 kilometers squared. Wildlife habitats from Mara Serengeti, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site of the most beautiful natural wildlife safari site in the world. It is estimated that US dollars 270 million is annually from tourism activities. Challenges and stress factors affecting the Lake Victoria Basin. Despite the above potentials, a number of factors have contributed to the deteriorating state of the lake. If these factors are not addressed, the lake might not exist in the next 123 years. One, population growth. It is serving the following population in the EAC region: Tanzania, 7.4 million, Uganda, 7.5 million, Kenya, 15.9 million, Rwanda, 8.8 million, and in Burundi, 5.3. Two, rapid urbanization along the lake, coupled with poor environmental and waste management, has resulted into pollution of the lake. Stress from outside the basin include the deteriorating water quality, which has resulted into pollution, atmospheric disposition, and climate change. Stresses from within the lake, unsustainable fishing methods, untreated effluent water hyacinths, cage culture, abstraction, and release of fluctuating lake levels. Stresses from the basin, such as land degradation, pollution from agrochemicals, sediment loads, and poor solid waste management. 6, stresses from the littoral zones like shoreline, conservation of wetlands, poor solid waste management, and existence of various and varying stakeholders with divergent interests. 4.5, other challenges and stress factors affecting performance of the Lvbc. 1, limited funding for maritime security and safety, limited funding for sensitization, education, and visibility campaigns. There is no funding to reach out to communities and other key stakeholders, limited visibility and lack of coordination officers in partner states, lack of funding to undertake studies to determine the depth and other scientific studies of the lake, increase and aging VAT refunds which are not remitted by the revenue collecting agency, which currently stand at US dollars 289,397. 6, the Lvbc Act, which is yet to be assented to by the heads of state. 7, staffing challenges. This has paralyzed the operations of the commission and have led to donors withdrawing funding due to lack of fiduciary capacity at the Lvbc, because the internal audit is staffed with 1 personnel, cannot provide sufficient oversight to all projects and programs at the Lvbc. Equally, the procurement section is a 1-person department, which pose a challenge in addressing all procurement needs of Lvbc. 8, reserve funds. The committee was informed that the EAC does not remit timely the reserves or surplus to Lvbc. Instead, it retains it, thus denying the Lvbc the necessary funding to undertake its programs and activities. Committee observations / recommendations. A, underfunded activities at Lvbc. The committee observed that the zero increment, which has been guiding the EAC organs and institutions in the planning and budgeting process, has left Lvbc with a number of underfunded activities. The activities that need urgent funding are the following. Maritime safety. This include purchasing personal life-saving appliances, formulating regulations under the Lake Victoria Transport Act 2007, example of regulations, registration and licensing of vessels, compulsory insurance for third-party liabilities. 3, prevention of oil chemical pollution, counting and registration of persons on board passenger vessels and training, certification, mining accident reporting and investigating, developing a regional maritime security policy and plan of action in the Lake Victoria, and repairing and dry docking of the RV Jumuiya. Institutional strengthening. Under the institutional strengthening, the following interventions are underfunded for this component to be strengthened. 1, resource mobilization activities, which include visits to various developmental partners and embassies, developing project concept notes, proposals with partner states, developing various knowledge marketing products, convening of the Lvbc Development Partners Forum, enhanced communication and visibility of the Lvbc, which include publication of the Lvbc Annual Report, Strategic Plan 2021-2026, quarterly newsletters, brochures, enhancing IT services capacity, which include video conferencing facilities, and implementing risk management activities in line with the EAC risk management framework. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to support the allocation of additional budget of at least $300,000 to support the implementation of the above underfunded activities. In addition, Lvbc should be versatile and undertake serious resource mobilization exercises. This should entail developing comprehensive and well-packaged project proposals that should be presented to potential donors so as to attract funding for the Lvbc programs. Late disbursements of funds by partner states and the reserve fund account. Lvbc, like other EAC organs and institutions, experiences delays in disbursements of funds, and this negatively affects the operations of the Commission. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the Lvbc maintains a reserve account. In addition, proposals should be undertaken by the EAC Council of Ministers to allow the funds that are remitted late to the Lvbc be retained by the Lvbc to implement their programs. Staffing gaps and affecting the Lvbc operations. The committee observed that the Lvbc, like other EAC organs and institutions, is experiencing challenges relating to understaffing. This challenge is expected to be aggravated by recommendations of the workload analysis and job evaluation exercise, which was undertaken by the EAC Ad hoc Commission. The report of the workload analysis proposed some key positions to be merged, scrapping off other key functions and ignoring the inclusion of key roles. Some of the shortcomings proposed in the ad hoc recommendations include 1, abolishing the position of the Deputy Executive Secretary, Finance and Administration position, and failing to upgrade the senior accountant role to principal accountant to head the finance department at the Lvbc as it's in other EAC institutions. 2, merging the positions of Water Resources Management Officer and Environmental and Natural Resources Management Officer, which are 2 distinct functions as per the Lvbc strategic plan, key program areas. Failure to include the position of Social Development Officer, which is a key function as per the Lvbc strategic plan, key program areas. Abolishing the accounts assistant position, which weakens the finance unit. Abolishing the position of internal auditor, which weakens the audit function and leaves a gap in segregation of internal audit function at the Commission. 6, failure to include procurement assistant and security assistant positions, which are urgently required to address the security and procurement gaps in their respective units. The committee recommendations. The committee recommends the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to 1, urgently review the decisions which were made by the Ad hoc Service Commission and address the gaps that are being proposed. Expedite current recruitment exercises such as staffing gaps at the Lvbc are currently addressed. There is a need to carry out a critical and comprehensive review of the job structures at the Lvbc such that the job structures are aligned to the mandate of the institution. F on VAT refunds. This has been a challenge across EAC organs and institutions. VAT refunds it into the Lvbc budget and denies the institution the necessary funds to implement the budget. The problem is further being compounded by the fact that the Lvbc has faced immense challenges from recovering VAT refunds from partner states outside Kenya, where Lvbc does not have a diplomatic status. The committee was informed that the current VAT refund stands at US dollars 289,397, as illustrated by the aging analysis below on the table. Committee recommendations. The longer the VAT balance stays, the more likely it would be unrecoverable in the long run. Concerned with the VAT refunds challenge across all organs and institutions of the EAC, the committee recommends to the Assembly to 1, urge the Council of Ministers to urgently address this matter. 2, the best practices from other countries where VAT is directly exempted from any product or goods purchased is applied. This could be a remedy to the perennial problem. 3, that these refunds are added to the budgeted annual contributions from each member state so that they are paid for together with partner states' contributions by the respective countries. Maritime accidents. Although East Africa region is the envy of the rest of the continent for its vast Lake Victoria, the many accidents in which hundreds or more people perish annually have become and continue to be a source of concern. Unfortunately, the lake has also become a death trap due to the rising number of accidents that plague it. Just a few examples of the major and recent accidents can illustrate the extent of the problem. In the recent past, at least 140 people perished when a ferry MV Nyerere capsized close to the town of Mwanza. Apart from the small-scale accidents, dozens of people die annually in large single accidents. For example, in 2011, over 145 people perished in a single accident, while in 2012, the number was 200. However, none of these accidents matched the harrowing incident where more than 900 people on the ferry MV Bukoba perished in Lake Victoria in 1996. The committee was further informed that a significant number of accidents happen in the transportation boats, which are often overloaded and have no means for saving people. In addition, funding challenges have hampered the development of original regulations to enhance and guide safety of the lake. The Regional Maritime Center, which had been envisioned with the funding from the European Union, was never established since the EU pulled out before the project could start. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to urgently consider the following measures. 1, safety awareness and educational campaigns. The committee notes that such incidents could have been avoided or reduced if safety education and awareness campaigns were enhanced within the transportation sector. Thus, the committee recommends that educational programs in schools, operators, and communities should be enhanced. In addition, provision and promotional activities in the use of protective gear, such as life jackets to passengers, control of overland and fitness inspections of boats could go a long way in reducing fatal accidents. Establishment of emergency search and rescue stations. This could be distributed around the lake, equipped with fast rescue and trained crews. In addition, rescue boats with larger capacity could be equipped with first aid facilities, could be stationed with various partner states to offer first aid facilities. The SARs could be co-located within the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization, LVFO, fishing landing sites. This is because the 16 landing sites are already developed and functional with access, roads, drainage, shelters, and electricity supply and sanitization facilities. The Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019. The Assembly may recall that on the 20th June 2019, the Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill was read for the first time and was consequently referred to the Committee of General Purpose for scrutiny and the report back to the House. The bill seeks to enhance the coordinative approaches of Lake Victoria Basin Commission with other stakeholders in the sustainable use and development of the water and the maritime resources. It is the committee's belief that once a bill is enacted into law, it will address the institutional and human resource challenges currently Lvbc is facing. The committee applauds the Assembly for the passage of this very critical yet important legislation aimed at saving Lake Victoria Basin. The committee urges the Council to liaise with Summit to fast track the assent to the bill. This could preferably be undertaken during the forthcoming summit. General observations and recommendations. The Lake Victoria Basin Commission Bill 2019. The committee applauds the Council for the initiative of introducing this critical legislation aimed at saving the Lake Victoria Basin. The committee urges the Council to prioritize and fast track the assent of the bill such that can be assented to during the forthcoming summit slated for November 2021. Kisumu Lvbc Headquarters Office Development. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to ensure that the remaining balance is provided such that the Lvbc can complete the construction of the office block. This could be done in the first quarter of this financial year 2021-2022. Integrating the Republic of South Sudan into Lvbc activities and programs. The committee observed that the protocol establishing the Lvbc did not include the Republic of South Sudan. This is because the Republic of South Sudan is outside Lake Victoria Basin, and as such, the Lvbc is not undertaking any programs in South Sudan. The committee considers this exclusion unfair, since the benefits accruing from the integration process cannot be shared by the people of South Sudan. Besides that, there are a lot of benefits and synergies that can be realized if the Republic of South Sudan is brought on board. Besides, Lake Victoria is a source of the Nile which flows through the Republic of South Sudan to the Mediterranean Sea. The committee recommends that the proposed Lvbc bill should take into consideration provisions of integrating the Republic of South Sudan into the Lake Victoria Basin Commission and any other future benefits. Any future membership. Funding of the Lvbc programs. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to urgently, 1, increase funding of Lvbc such that it can be able to carry out its activities and programs. 2, Lvbc should develop resource mobilization strategies so as to attract funding for its activities from potential donors. 5.5 on understaffing. Although the committee is cognizant of the fact that the recruitments are underway, it recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to expedite the recruitments such that the vacant positions at Lvbc can be filled immediately. 5.6 RV Jumuiya. The committee recommends to the Assembly to urge the Council of Ministers to avail the necessary funding such that the process of repair and ascertaining its seaworthiness is complete. Conclusion. The EAC institutions have clear mandates that promise to fulfill the East African community potential. This has been manifested by the achievements attained despite the budgetary constraints. The EAC Council of Ministers should fully support strategies and programs of the EAC institutions. Funding is a prerequisite to capacity building, quality assurance, sustainability, and effective competition. There is a need for increased funding for EAC organs and institutions. The Council of Ministers should overrule the zero increment of the budget. By doing so, it will enable institutions implement their planned activities. The EAC Council of Ministers should also play their role to ensure the Lvbc headquarters are complete so as to be the flagship assets for the community. Equally, there is a need to put RV Jumuiya back on water to address the scientific and other aquatic needs emanating from the lake. 7, acknowledgements. The Committee on Accounts wishes to thank the Right Honorable Speaker, members, the clerk, and the entire administration of the Assembly for allowing it to carry out its oversight function. The committee further appreciates the valuable time and information accorded to it by the LVBC and other stakeholders the committee visited. The committee hopes that the findings and recommendations contained in this report will greatly enhance the sustainability of Lake Victoria Basin and the Lake Victoria Basin Commission.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me clarify something. What is the RMV? Research Maritime Vehicle?
Honorable Speaker, it is a ship owned by
I mean, the length of the abbreviation is what?
the RMV Jumuiya.
RMV Jumuiya.
Yes.
RV.
RV.
Okay, because in my notes it is written as RMV, so it is RV.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Ken. Honorable members, let me now propose the motion that the report of the Committee on Accounts on the progress made in the construction of Lake Victoria Basin Commission Headquarters and the RV Jumuiya be adopted. Debate is open and we shall be ending at 5. Honorable Susan and the Honorable Claude.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I'd like to thank the Chair of the Accounts Committee for this very good report. I want to declare that I'm a member of the Committee on Accounts and also add my voice in welcoming Honorable Ikuya to this great institution of the East African community. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the members of the Accounts Committee because when you are undertaking this activity, it was really, really hard. We were given 3 days of work, and those included having an 8-hour drive from Kisumu to Mwanza. So it was 8 hours to and 8 hours from. We started in Kisumu. We went, handled the construction of the headquarters. We had a boardroom meeting with the members from the Lake Victoria Basin Commission. We woke up at 3 a.m. so that we start our journey at 4 for us to be able to arrive in Kisumu, in Mwanza on time. We arrived there around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We went and did this oversight activity. We had our lunch probably at 6 p.m. and we had to travel back to Kisumu. I mean, we got there in the morning. We had to do COVID tests. We had to do so many things within 3 days. And this gives me a plea to Council of Ministers. I know there are those individuals with bad intentions who would even want to reduce this very little time we have further. We have a big mandate as an assembly. We need time to be able to work and perform this oversight function. I know our Council of Ministers, they are very busy because they have big dockets. For example, my minister from Uganda, she's also the Prime Minister. So she has a lot of work. So as council members, they might not be able to go on the ground to assess the situation. As an assembly, we are doing this work to facilitate them so that they are able to make decisions from an informed point of view. But we are constrained when it comes to time. So I want to implore Council, Right Honorable Kadaga, I know the way you deal with the Parliament is exceptional. We are seeking your indulgence when it comes to this. Honorable Speaker, allow me to also thank the Republic of Kenya for housing the Lake Victoria Basin Commission for such a long time. We are given free accommodation. Now it's time for us to have our own home. It's very unfortunate that as East African community, despite the fact that the Republic of Kenya gave us free land worth more than $500,000. We are not able to raise $3 million to do the construction. Council, I don't know what was wrong with them. Maybe they were very tired. They directed that this construction should be phased, but it's going to look very shabby. Members of council and Secretary General, as my chair read in the report, what has been done, they constructed the entire foundation. It has iron bars popping out. Then they constructed half of that foundation to do the 3 floors going up. But still, even that one section, which has 3 floors, they only have money to complete 2 floors. So with this phased construction, that means people are going to be using 2 floors, yet the 3rd floor still has construction work to do. And this is an international organization. I think it's going to look so shabby. So I would like to request council, let's avoid the embarrassment because there could be some hazards there. Let's just find money. The solution to this problem we are facing, because every time council says there's no money, the solution is that alternative funding mechanism. The solution is not reducing the numbers of EALA members. It's not reducing our days of sitting. The solution is that alternative fund. I would like to implore the Sectoral Council on Finance to devote more time on the alternative funding mechanism other than witch hunting EALA. We all want to serve the community and we want to see a growing community. The other challenge you are going to face with this phased construction is that the bill of costs keep changing. The engineers were actually informing us that the time they did the bill of costs before COVID started, compared to today when they're doing the construction, the costs have increased by 25%. And you all know that. And council is not willing to increase the budget. And I know if you're going to wait for this other phase to come maybe 2 years from now, it will probably have shot by 50%. So the earlier we do this, the better. My other issue is on RV Jumuiya. We really had a good interaction with the team. And I would like to inform Chair Council, we've been paying staff. Actually, it's one of the audit queries. We have 2 staff there manning the vessel that has been grounded for more than 10 years. We spend, for every financial year, we spend about $59,000 on staff. I don't want to say who are doing nothing, but they're not doing what they're supposed to do simply because the vessel is grounded. And the budget that they've been requiring all this time is just $90,000 to get the vessel going. It's the only research vessel in the region. In fact, universities have expressed interest to even hire out this vessel. They're willing to pay. So this is a vessel that can even bring income to the community. The University of Dar es Salaam, when they wanted to use the vessel, they had their money ready, but it's not seaworthy. Makerere University also wanted to use the same vessel, but it's not seaworthy. National Water in Tanzania, they also wanted to rent out this vessel. And how do we explain that ESC has failed to raise $90,000 just to work on this vessel? This is a vessel that can actually also serve people on the Lake Victoria, because it has capacity to dock in any kind of water levels, both shallow and deep. It has the capacity. It is able to detect anything, even at the bottom of the Lake Victoria. Right now, we don't even know the depth of the lake because it was last done 40 years ago. And this vessel has the capacity to do this, but we are just there. In 2019, the council directed for us to do a cost benefit analysis. And it has taken us 3 years. Council would not even provide the money to do the cost benefit analysis until Lvbc had to do an internal reallocation. This analysis has been done, but I would like to recommend to Council that we should not let go of this vessel. It's very important to the community, and even for those who donated it to us. This is a vessel built in 1990. For those ones who know about these vessels, this vessel has capacity of more than 70 years. It will serve this community. It will be worth every penny that we are going to spend on it. My last 2 issues are on the VAT. Now, first of all, the issue of the internal audit function. We have a problem with the internal audit function in EAC. Apparently, internal auditors in all institutions of EAC have been phased out. So it's the internal auditor at the EAC Secretariat that is supposed to move from one institution to the other. And this was a proposal from the EAC Ad Hoc Service Commission. I think this is a very big mistake we are making, because the internal auditor feeds the auditors of the EAC who are supposed to audit our books of accounts. And the way the internal audit function, even at the Secretariat, is understaffed. They are not able to do everything by themselves. We are going to have people collapsing on the job, and we might end up in trouble as the community. So I'd like to implore our Council, the internal audit function should not be removed for any reason, because this is the only way we can be able to ensure accountability and ensure that our taxpayers' monies are well spent. Finally, the issue of VAT refundable. $289,000 has not been refunded. The challenge we have in our budget, we do not budget for VAT because EAC is supposed to be tax exempt. So now for $200,000 to almost $300,000 to be taken from whichever vote, I don't understand, because we don't even have a component of miscellaneous in our budget. So that means these people are not able to implement the activities they had budgeted for. In fact, for this year under review, Lvbc had budgeted $11 million, and they were only able to spend $1.8 million because the money came in very late. Even the donor-funded activities, the money came in the second half, in the second quarter of the financial year. So it poses a big challenge. In fact, Lvbc was supposed to get a tax exemption certificate from the Republic of Kenya. They've been requesting for it, but it has not been possible. In fact, all EAC institutions are facing this same challenge because in some partner states, they've even put a limitation period for institutions to claim the VAT. When you write to them, after 6 months, if you've not gotten the VAT, you forget about it. I think, in my opinion, all this VAT that has not been refunded by any partner state should be treated as arrears from that partner state, because the community is losing a lot of money that would not otherwise be losing. And the last bit, Right Honorable Speaker, the Lvbc has always requested to have their own reserve account. When money comes in late, they have not spent it. Sometimes they have outstanding obligations. The money does not go to Lvbc. Instead, it goes to the Secretariat. That means they're not able to utilize that money. Yet sometimes they have like suppliers who have to be paid, but the money has come to the Secretariat and then they're not able to get it back. So I'd like Council to help our institutions, at least to have their own reserve fund, such that when monies come late, they are still able to spend it. I want to submit and support the report of the committee. Thank you.
If my recollection is correct, I think we once borrowed from that. So thank you so much. Honorable Claude, honorable members, Do we agree that we have to adjourn early and go for training? At what time? At 5. So Honorable Claude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to, to congratulate. And
Let me
welcome-
say Honorable Claude and Honorable Mariam, if at 5 we are able to do it, and if we are not, then it will continue in that order by tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to congratulate and welcome Honorable James, the Deputy Minister in charge of EAC from Uganda, who was sworn in today. We are glad to have him in our assembly. So I want to talk about two things about this report. I also want to thank the chairperson of this committee and the clerk, Victor, for helping us to do this activity, oversight activity on Lvbc. What I want to talk about on this report is about this RV Jumuiya. It is a 30 years old vessel. It was manufactured in 1990. But over the 30 years, it has been there, 10 years of it has been idle, waiting to be inspected so that it can get the seaworthiness certificate to be able, for it to be able to do the activities for which it was manufactured for. This vessel is very important for our community because it is aimed to assess the navigability of the Lake Victoria. It is also, it can also be used because it also has a laboratory in it. It can be used to also analyze and study the biodiversity in the lake, in the Lake Victoria. There is a study which is being conducted. Honorable Susan has talked about it, but in our view as honorable members who visited this RV Jumuiya, we found that it is very important. Although the assessment can come up with a recommendation of selling it or doing any other activity about it, but for us we found it a very good vessel which we have to keep and also make it functional. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to talk about this Lake Victoria, the Lake Victoria. The location of Lake Victoria is situated in an area where it is shared by United Republic of Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, but it also has connections which can also reach out to other partner states like Rwanda through Akagera River and also South Sudan through the Nile River. So if this vessel can be able to function, it can also study the possibilities of using this Lake Victoria as a means of transport of either passengers and also goods, because it can be a shortest route to reach out to or to take goods to those other partner states, including Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan. You know that we have this standard gauge railway, and the way it is supposed to reach, it is in the neighborhood of Lake Victoria. So this RV Jumuiya is very helpful. That's in that regard that it can also help to assess the navigability of the lake and also the community be able to come up with projects, good projects, transport projects we can also be beneficial to our partner states. Honorable Speaker, many people have been dying on the lake because they are using the lake without knowing where to pass, without knowing where how to use the lake or which proper ways to use on the lake. So this also RV Jumuiya can help in that way by reducing or also protecting lives of East Africans who are using the lake as passengers. So there was a project which was funded by, if I remember well, it was funded by European Union to establish research, emergency search and rescue stations one in Uganda, on Uganda side, the other one on Kenya side, and the headquarters of that station was supposed to be in Mwanza. But when we were there, we were informed that only one on the side of Uganda was completed, but the one on the side of Tanzania, which was supposed to be the headquarters of these rescue stations, has not yet kicked off because of the funding. Because the donors have cancelled the funds. So therefore, I would also implore and beg the Council of Ministers and the Secretary General who is here present also to work on that issue so that we can get funds and have those search and rescue stations be established. Honorable Speaker, I want to support this report. I'm a member of this committee, and I also beg other members to support this report, and also I implore and beg the Council of Ministers to please implement the recommendations.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Claude. And as I said earlier, we shall continue the debate tomorrow. The members I had mentioned will start and pick another speaking order. But as I had done, this issue, I think, Council members, please, it gives you time to reflect on it when you respond tomorrow, particularly about this vessel. If the figures, I got them correct, if we spend 59,000 every year, and it's been grounded for 10 years, then we have already spent 7 million plus. When we need only 90, yes, if we have, it means we have spent 7,080,000 already. If I calculated well, when we could just spend that 90,000, which is a 2 month, I mean, it's a 2 year spending we don't need when it is doing nothing. It has the potential to generate income. So in a way, it is the question of accountability. Yeah, it is a question of accountability. So we hope Council will be in a position to respond when as we shall be concluding this debate. Clear? Honorable Kadaga, I can make an exception for you.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I just need some clarification. I start by really thanking the committee and the members for this elaborate report. We've noted the issue of the treaties. I mean, the bills not assented to, but I just wanted better information about the VAT because I've aggregated it. I want to know which partner state owes what so that we can make a move on it. Thank you.
So the council member, if she gets this information, it will help to shape the response of the council at the end of the debate. So Honorable Chair, Honorable Susan, because you debated about this particular aspect, please assist the Deputy Prime Minister to get that information in detail. So honorable members, I wish you a good evening and I adjourn until tomorrow. Just a minute. Yes, but please, the reason we are joining early is for us to go and train. Yes, please. So let us do it. Let us account for the remaining time by going to train. So I adjourn until tomorrow at 2:30.